All right, what's going on, everybody? Right now, we're about to take on the first Valkyrie in the game. This is the one in the story, not one of the challenge Valkyries that I've been hearing a lot of people talk about. This boss fight, and before I even start this whole thing, I gotta say these boss fights in this game are horrible. I'm not looking back at the old God of War games with rose tinted glasses, as a lot of people would say. I'm not being nostalgic or anything like that. These boss fights suck. The best boss fight so far, just by what I played, is the first boss fight. That first boss fight with the Stranger. I think his name is Boulder. We come to find out that his name was Boulder or something like that. He is one of Odin's sons. That first boss fight was amazing. That felt like the level of God of War boss fight that we should have been getting throughout the entire game. But instead, after that boss fight, all the other boss fights have been pretty lame. The dragon was pretty cool, I guess, but it again wasn't on the same level as that first boss fight. Same thing with one of the other bosses that I fought yesterday in the world of the dead. I can't remember the exact name of it. I think it's called Helheim or whatever. The boss in Helheim, that was pretty cool, I guess. That wasn't too bad of a boss, but the fight with Dora's sons, that was pretty easy. I just for some reason I kept messing up because uh, I couldn't turn around fast enough because cause you got to turn around with the right stick at one point in the fight. You got to block all of their attacks or whatever. But that fight wasn't even exciting. Like half of these boss fights aren't exciting. This fight isn't exciting. And you'll see me. I'll probably end up messing up and whatever. I'll probably end up messing up on this fight. I don't really care. I want to show off how bad these boss fights are. This boss fight in particular is one of the worst boss fights I've played in a while. And here's my reasoning for that. And I know some of y'all gonna disagree, and there's always gonna be that one or two or even three people that are gonna be like, "Oh, you suck at the game. It's not the game. It's you." Listen, I'm not gonna pretend like I'm the best at video games or whatever. But I do know level design. I do know enemy design. I do know what a good boss fight is. I've been playing games long enough to know what a good boss fight is, and this fight in particular is not a good boss fight. Um, Remember how people were complaining about Quantum Break and about a lot of other games in which at the last part of the game, or even not even at the last part of the game, just some of the major boss fights or some of the major fights, what they would do is throw a bunch of enemies at you at one time and call it a day. They do that just to, most developers when they do that, they're being lazy because they want to try to add they want to try to make the game harder, but it seems like they don't know a way to make the game harder. So what they do is they throw a bunch of enemies at you. And one of the issues I've had with a lot of the mini boss fights and then just some of the boss fights in particular is just the fact that wants you the game wants you to focus on what's supposed to be the major boss, but then all of a sudden we have these minor enemies that you have to worry about, and it throws the whole thing off. That is why I keep comparing this game to Hellblade, and with Hellblade's bosses, the boss fights were intense. They really need to look at what Hellblade did with bosses because one thing about Hellblade, it was a one-on-one fight against these bosses that you had to fight, right? In this game and in this battle, and you'll see this enemy is so easy, and it pisses me off. It really makes me mad because this enemy is so easy. The boss is so easy. The problem is that she summons out enemies. She summons out enemies. So and you'll see what I mean. She summons out enemies, and so now, not only do I have to worry about her, I gotta worry about the other enemies that she summons out, and then they keep attacking me from my blind side. And yes, I know that I can listen to the head and the boy screaming at me, saying dodge left, dodge right, all that bull crap. Look at the indicator. I know this stuff. I'm not retarded. I'm not stupid. I also know there's a turnaround function. Here's the thing. Turning around, this function right here, the quick turn, that quick turn function is very disorienting. And the way that this camera is, and people keep trying to defend this camera. This camera is one of the main culprits. It's one of the main flaws of this game. Yeah, Hellblade had a similar type of camera, but the camera wasn't. I swear, Hellblade's camera wasn't as zoomed in as this camera. The field of view wasn't like this game. It wasn't the same. Like this game is, they completely zoomed the camera in, and I know people are gonna make that excuse of okay, they want the game, they want the combat to be more intimate. They want you to really feel like you're in the fight. You're doing all this and you're sacrificing the player's awareness. There's only so much, there's only so many precautions that they could have taken. Like again, they do the Hellblade thing of having characters tell you when to dodge and when to kind of look at your back and everything. They'll tell you when an enemy's about to attack you and stuff, and that's helpful sometimes. But you'll see throughout this fight that regardless, there's 4 enemies trying to fight me, and then there's the Valkyrie that's throwing stuff at me, and it gets to a point where it's just completely unmanageable. It has nothing to do with my skill level. It has nothing to do with the difficulty of the game or whatever. I'm playing this on the normal difficulty, by the way. Like this boss fight. Compare this boss fight right here. Compare this boss fight right here to the older God of War boss fights. It's just not the same. You see how the enemy keeps sliding backwards, right? Keeps doing the moonwalk backwards. Oh God. Oh my freaking God. I'm mad she got me down right there. I could have got that help. Man, stop sliding freaking backwards. Like, stop freaking moonwalking your tail backwards, bruh. Stop running away! Like, that's what half of these freaking bosses do! They freaking always running the freaking way, man! And that's what, and like, I get frustrated, and that's why I keep screwing up. Look how she's steady running. Look how she's steady running away. Like, stop freaking running away every 5 freaking seconds. Yo. This, oh my Lord Jesus. Like, this has to be one of the worst boss fights I have ever played in my life. The boss has the longest freaking health bar, and what I heard is like the other Valkyries have a long health bar like that also. All the enemy does is all the boss does is freaking slide backwards on you every 5 seconds. It runs away from you every 5 seconds. Like I said, man, these boss fights are garbage.
Find them. Free them. The fate of the Valkyries rests on your shoulders.
Man, bump the Valkyries if they're all like this and they all just summon out enemies and slide backwards and run away from you. That's one of the big issues with this game. A lot of the enemies, all they do is try to dodge out the way, slide backwards. I'm gonna slide to the side, man. Like get this crap out of here. Man, people talk about, oh, this is amazing fighting game. This is an amazing game, right?
Yet not one easily answered. I know more than most, but much of their history is veiled in secrecy. My own experience with the Valkyries ends with my imprisonment.
You are avoiding the question, Head.
As I said, brother, it's complicated. I don't know why or how they become such wretched creatures, but perhaps if we can free more of them.
You want us to find more of those things?
The fate of the Valkyries, lad. A more worthy endeavor there is not.
It will be dangerous.
Well, that hasn't stopped you before, eh? That's the spirit.
That was not worth it. And for that boss fight, what did we get? We get a bunch of bull crap. A bunch of bull crap is what we get. Okay. But y'all see what I mean. That fight wasn't even hard. And I'm mad that I had to use a resurrection stone. Because I started to screw up because I was getting angry and I was getting kind of frustrated. And that's what caused me to screw up. But yeah, man, y'all see what I mean. This boss fight's a joke.